Test Drive Unlimited has just recently launched. Now, I personally got to play the demo as well as the full game early. 20 hours of total gameplay as of now, which yes, is not that much, so most of the feedback in this video will actually come from the community itself instead of my personal opinion. Most of it. Now, first of all, I do want to say some positive things about the TDU Solar Crown. The map is amazing. Huge city map. I'd honestly even say it's miles better, like more interesting to drive through and explore than Forza Horizon 5 map. Second of all, the car sound somehow sounds better than Forza Horizon 5. Even though Forza Horizon 5 actually recorded their car sounds in real life, which, must have cost a fortune. So I don't know how TDU Solar Crown managed to outdo Forza Horizon 5 car sounds. That is a total mystery. Now, the third positive thing I want to say about TDU Solar Crown is the graphics and cutscenes. Now, in this case, yes, Forza Horizon 5 is in the lead when it comes to purely graphics. You just can't beat Forza Horizon 5 graphics. But the TDU Solar Crown graphics are more than enough. At this stage, it does just ultimately come down to gameplay and other factors that will make the game enjoyable and successful in the long run, right? Such as story and physics and other stuff that we will get into. Let me say this as well. I like that you can walk around in some areas in TDU Solar Crown. I think that is kind of like underrated feature nowadays in driving games. Now that being said, it is time to talk about the elephant in the room. And no, I don't mean your mom. Steam reviews as of recording this right now are mostly negative. Now, when I saw the Steam rating, it didn't make much sense at first glance because I played the demo version of the game on Steam and it was fine. But after looking into the actual reviews, something apparently went horribly wrong with the actual launch of the game on 5th September. Instead of 50 USD for the base game, you pay 80 USD to play the game 1 week early. And you might think, well, that's what most AAA games do nowadays. That's not the end of the world. Yeah. Except there is one big issue. Most people that bought the gold edition to play the game early quickly discovered that even though they paid 30 bucks extra, they couldn't play the game early because of technical issues. And thus, review bombing began. Wow, that was very dramatic. So this review over here sums up the early access experience for most people, apparently. Decided to purchase the early access version due to waiting for the game for a good while now. Waited all night to play it. Finally downloaded it and login error. Well, there goes my day off from work. Very disappointed. And over 200 people have agreed with this single review as well. That's just one of the reviews. Here is, for example, another review saying a similar thing, and over 400 people have agreed with that one. And there's more where that came from. It just goes on and on. This same pattern. Now, these reviews were during 48 hours of the game launch. So that's first 2 days. I decided to play the game on day 3 to see if the issues are finally fixed. And I managed to get to that specific error that everyone is talking about on the main menu after I launched the game, not even loading up the actual gameplay. So that was a little disappointing to see. It's not the end of the world. If you get the error, you just restart the game. That's it. And then it continued. But after playing for, let's say, about 30 minutes max, I got the same error again. Now, another issue that I encountered was that my sim setup was not properly working with the game. Now, at times I could rotate the wheel in the game, but my pedals, I could never get my pedals to work, sadly. And there was also no way to manually do the device inputs. For reference, this exact setup does work in Forza Horizon 5, Car Street Racing Online, Car Street, Assetto Corsa, BeamNG, the JDM game, and I'm forgetting some other games. Anyway, not a big issue, early access, that didn't stop me from playing the game. I simply grabbed my old PlayStation 4 controller and I was on my way to exploring the game. And throughout like 4 hours in total, I only had to restart the game a few times during the error. And sometimes the game servers stopped working for everyone, as I saw everyone streaming the game had to stop playing the game. But that was roughly for 10 minutes and then we were back playing the game. But it does seem like it was significantly better on day 3 than the first 48 hours. Now, quickly coming back to the community's feedback. What were like the other concerns besides the technical issues that players were complaining about in the very beginning? optimization. And this is actually pretty big. A lot of people complaining about that. Personally, I cannot give any feedback here as I do have a NASA PC, so didn't experience any hiccups there. But if you don't have a NASA PC, then apparently the game might be struggling. For reference, my PC specs are on the screen right now. No issues for me with these specs at least. Now, during recording this, I can already see that the Steam ratings have gone from mostly negative to mixed. And sure, there's still significantly more negative comments than positive comments, but it does show that people are switching the tune about the game and that the game is already getting bug fixes and improvements. Now, the third most popular complaint is no offline mode. So Tenstorm Unlimited 1 and 2 had an offline mode, which means you could play the game without having the need to have an internet connection. With TDU Solar Crown, that is not the case. You need to be connected to the internet to play the game. Now, some players don't care about that, but a big portion of players apparently don't like it at all. Ubisoft game, The Crew, had a very similar backlash when they wanted to pull a plug on their game, which was also built as a live service game. So this is a common thing nowadays in the gaming industry. You might buy a game, but you might not be able to play the game after some years have passed, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Even the newly released Carrick Street PC, by the way, is a live service game. So without that internet connection, you cannot launch these games, and when they decide to pull the plug on the servers, well, you can't access the game. Now, what is the gameplay like in TDU Solar Crown? Pretty straightforward. You load up the game, you look at some cool cinematics, you create and design your character, you get your starter car, then you do a few normal races, during which you level up and gain money for future upgrades. Then you join a club, either Sharps or Streets, and then you can unlock the boss races. Which, so far, the bosses seem to be way too easy compared to normal races, but that might not be the case towards the very end game. Now, if you have grinded some money, what do you do with it? Well, you upgrade your car performance, which, by the way, the upgrades are locked behind your level as well, so you need to do some races. Visually, you cannot do much to the car. There is no body kits and such, which is okay. It is consistent with TDU 1 and TDU 2. However, you can change minor stuff, such as car color, rims, and window tints. Now, from there on, you simply focus on doing the events and work your way through the club bosses, or focus on the multiplayer aspect of the game. Speaking of online, there is no server list. You have to invite your friends to join your game one by one, similar to Forza Horizon 5. Now, something that feels missing in TDU Solar Crown is buying houses. If you play TDU 2, you will start with like a low budget house, work your way up, felt amazing to progress to get bigger houses, and your cars would be in your house garage as well. It felt like yours. Doesn't seem to be the case in TDU Solar Crown. We have the main multi-floor hotel, which is where you live, apparently. I do hope they add some kind of houses that you can purchase in the future if they wanted to, they could figure it out. We are also missing the famous casino from the TDU 2, which is pretty sad. But hey, again, could be added in the future, or maybe a DLC or something. We'll see. And I really miss delivering high-end cars like we had in TDU 2. Like, it was really fun to like just access a Ferrari in the beginning of the game. Even though it was not your car, you had to deliver it from point A to point B to get some money. I love that. So we're like missing some features. Now, I know we've gone over a lot of negative stuff about the game, so let's look at some positive things about the game as well based on the community's reviews. People generally love the physics. I know, not everybody, but racing physics seem to be generally well received. Drifting, sure, is maybe not as pleasant as Forza Horizon 5's, but again, the physics are consistent with the previous TDU games, which is good. Fun fact, really easy to pull a 360 even with stock cars, so the drifting ain't that bad. Now, the environment or the map, again, generally well received by the community. I also personally think it is quite good. What about the graphics? Well, some people, even when they left a positive review, they said it's a bit dull, but mostly players are happy with the graphics, which is nice to hear. I personally care more about gameplay than graphics, because most games nowadays already come with pretty decent graphics, let's be honest. So anyway, it's not all that bad is my point. The game is, in my opinion, like a 7 out of 10. It's not bad, but I think it is missing like a little bit of soul or something compared to TDU 2. To conclude, car sounds are good, graphics are good, physics are okay, gameplay is okay. 7 out of 10. Do with that info what you will, okay? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and as always, stay sideways. Peace!